Tameka Stephenson Harris is my guest, and we took our break when, at that point, unfortunately, your mom got shot. Well, the shop was burnt down, then your mom got shot, and then she had to get a stall.
Yes.
How no function then?
Well, the same method in terms of going to sit next to her at the stall until she was finished, or until approximately about 8 or so when she gets some assistance and the older ones were at home, because that was the routine. My mom got shot. When she got shot, she got shot inside of the shop, actually, because after the stall, eventually she was able to get a space at a shop before she was able to purchase that home where she was actually at and doing business in terms of a restaurant. And so when she got shot, she spent approximately 3 days inside KPH Hospital, a shot to the back that was never removed. And during that time, my sisters and I and my father, we had to decide, how is it that we are going to function, because now mommy is not here and she was the major person and the sole breadwinner for us. So we had to take intervals. Who is going to go downtown to make sure that the groceries are purchased for the shop and to get things running? Who is going to make sure that the kids are ready for school? And so that was one of my jobs while my father went.
So you became mother and guardian?
Yes. At some point in time,
Was it difficult?
It was difficult. It was difficult, but we made it happen. We were quite supportive of each other while at the same time looking for her, because some of us weren't able to go inside the hospital because of our age.
Right. After Alpha Academy,
yes,
where did you head?
Well, after Alpha Academy, I head to UTEC, which was a very challenging moment, because in heading to UTEC, what had happened initially was that I had applied for UTEC and then I got no response. And I was like, hold on. I had 4 subjects coming from 4th form and then 5th form, and then we did 6th form. What's happening? Because some of my friends were getting responses. And only to know that I called. When I called, they placed me on hold, so I did not get through to anyone. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to UTEC tomorrow morning. So I went to UTEC and I asked asked for directions until I got to the administrative office. And I said to them, I am Tameka Stephenson. I've applied for a program. I haven't received a response as yet, and I don't understand how comes. So the person had checked the system and she said, you know what, Tameka, I'm not seeing you on the acceptance list. And for some reason I was like, am I on the rejection list? and I'm like, she looked and she didn't see me. I said, but if I'm not on the acceptance list, then I should be on the rejection list. And she said, I don't know how comes. Did you hand in the paper? And I'm like, yes, and it was quite on time. So only to know that she eventually decided that they were looking a pile that was close by to see if they found that application form. And when she looked, lo and behold, that was it on top of the pile.
And you were accepted?
And I was accepted. At the university, they thought it was not paid for, so it was filed aside.
What did you go to UTEC to study?
I went to UTEC to study dietetics and nutrition. And while I was there, we were not able to pay the school fee, of course, and we were not able to apply for student loan at the time because my mother's business was not registered. We didn't have anybody else to use as guarantor. And so I went and I decided I'm going to discuss in terms of a payment plan, and my mother would through her partners and try to pay in parts. So I went and I was told, the other half is expected to be paid at the end of July. However, by January, my friends were like, no, man, it's supposed to be paid in January. And I said, no, my form actually have the end of July. So there I went for exam May, which was the end of the 2nd semester. And when I went inside, the invigilator said, how much is your balance? Because there goes my examination card. And I was like, $60,000. He's like, no, you can't enter the exam with any balance outstanding. You need to go to accounts and settle your balance. So I got up and I was now praying and saying, God, what am I going to do? So I went to accounts. And when I went to accounts, I saw someone leaving accounts. And I said to her, well, I was told to come and settle my balance, but I really don't have anything. And my form said that the other half is due at the end of July. She said, well, you know what? You should not even have had an exam card if you didn't complete. But since you have, then they should allow you to sit the exam.
They allowed you when you went back?
So I went back to the room and I was allowed to just go to the next room and sit the exam.
You completed your studies at UTEC, yes, with challenges, but
yes.
You're a very determined person. You seem to have a plan. And after that, you headed to the University of the West Indies.
Yes, I did. So I was able to complete University of Technology with a UTEC Foundation scholarship, which had later covered all the fees. And I decided, I wanted to become a nutritionist. I changed my mind at some point in time. I said, I want to become a nutritionist. And when I went into the dietetics and nutrition program, I was told that to become a nutritionist, you actually have to have a master's. So from I was in 2nd year of UTEC, I was determined to get the master's because I have to get this qualification. And so, of course, course, by the time I went into fourth year, I started to apply for the same in terms of at UWI, which was the only university that offered it at the time. Mark you, I was not able to pay the school fee prior. So at that time, I would work with CFNI, Caribbean Food and Nutrition Institute, during the summer holiday, and I applied for the program, and I got through. While I was at CFNI, I remember one of the economists called me, and he said, "No, Tameka, the summer is over. What is it that you're going to do for September? Because now the contract is about to finish." And I said, I got through for the Masters in Nutrition, so I'll be studying at UWI here. He's like, "No, you come from them shutter place there." And I was like, "Greenwich Farm?" "Yes, man. But, there's a God that is bigger than everything and everyone else." And he said, "So I see." And that was the end of our conversation. But thank God for the CFNI family and Miss Morris and Miss Lawrence. They always, called me when there's a project available. And so I would do that on the side while I was doing the Masters as well in nutrition.
I think you ended up sleeping in your car sometimes?
Oh, yes. So while I was pursuing the Masters in Nutrition, also my mom needed help as well. And so at that time, I was working in terms of with CFNI contract. I was allowed to take those home and doing my time, but just, once it presented it on time. And so I was doing that. I was working as a research assistant at the University of the West Indies Library, as well as I was working with XM Radio in Portmore. So my mother had purchased a car for me, a little Subaru, at the end of my bachelor's program, was actually my award, my gift. And so I was using that to be very mobile in going back and forth. And so when I finished 8 to 12, midday, that would be the master's program, I would then go to the library, and then I will do a night shift at XM Radio. So I'll drive to Portmore and go to the night shift session while I have the contract for CFNI that is to be filled. And I will return at 6 a.m. on campus in the car, and I will sleep there. In my car would be everything. Even now my husband was like, "You sleep in your car have everything." So I would have my jacket, I'll have a heels, I'll have a sneakers, I'll have a slippers because I have to change for the different occasion. And then I'll just get myself ready and freshen up in the bathroom and class again at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Tameka Stephenson Harris. What a story. We're going to hear now about her studies in medicine in the final segment and the other things, her research, her presentation at conferences. Yes, it's a lot to cover, but we're going to try to do it in about 5 or 6 minutes. Thank you for watching.